All right. Good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon if you're far, far away. I said good morning to everybody one week, and somebody said, "It's not morning where I'm at." And I went, "Oh, you must be farther away." So Saturdays are kind of fun because I can say good morning and know that most of us, at the very least, are still in the morning zone. For me, it's very early. If you know me or have been on my groups before, you know I'm in California, and it is 8:30 in the morning. So welcome everyone. This is Saturday edition of Group Q&A. I'm Jill Johns, one of the corporate mentors with Cornerstone. Oops, we've got some more people popping in the wait room. Just give me just a second to let everyone in. All right, I think everybody's popping in. All right, I think we've got everybody up to date at this point. I'll keep an eye on that and see if anybody else comes in. So for those of you just joining, whoops, there's another one. All right. So again, I'm Jill Jones, one of the corporate mentors with Cornerstone. This is Saturday Group Q&A. If you've not attended a group Q&A session before, this is an open Q&A session. I have gone ahead and muted everybody just so that background noises and whatnot are kind of canceled out. If you have a question, you are more than welcome to go ahead and unmute yourself and ask the question. If you're not comfortable unmuting and asking the question, whoops, I clicked the wrong button. You can certainly click on the chat down at the bottom. It will open up the little chat window over on the side of your screen, and you can put your question in there if you're not comfortable unmuting yourself. Good morning to those of you in chat saying good morning. Lisa, Stephanie, Colleen. I see lots of familiar names who've been on chats with me before. Some of you I've done one-on-ones with, and some names are new to me. Some of you I've seen on the Cornerstone Travel Facebook page too. So hello, hello, hello. Who wants to get us started today? Anybody,
Uh,
just jump on in there.
I'll
Hi,
I'll
Lisa.
go. Good morning.
Okay,
Booked a cruise for four people the other night and
okay.
moved them into a TLM group. Now, if the price goes down on regular, will I be able to call and get that fixed? Like,
You can call you can call and ask them to referry. Yes, that's my understanding. I don't book a lot of Royal Caribbean, but that is my understanding is that if you've moved them into a TLN group, that you would at that point need to call. You can't as I understand it, you can't refer them on your own once they're in a TLN group. So yeah, just give them a call and see if they can take care of that for you.
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. And just one thing I want to mention too, that if you're looking at referring a price for somebody, always take note of what perks they have with their current booking and what perks are available with that new fare because sometimes there may be a nice price reduction, but they might lose onboard credit that was applied during the original promotion. So you kind of have to weigh. It's like I had one once where the reduction was $200, but they were going to lose $250 in onboard credit. And so I kind of went, so I didn't, that's not something I would automatically reduce. I mean, normally if it's a straight shot, there's no onboard credit to deal with. They're not losing any perks. It's just a straight shot price reduction. I'll usually just do it for them and then tell them afterwards, hey, guess what? Excuse me. But if there's perks involved and they may lose that, I always give the option to them and say, which is more important, saving the money out of your pocket or keeping that onboard credit? And then I let them choose. I tell them how much they could save versus how much they would lose, and I leave it up to them at that point. So, and I have a question in the chat I'm going to interject with real quick. Colleen is asking if I can share what happened to Amy's husband. I don't know. All I know is that he's on his second trip to the emergency room and that he's apparently having surgery. I only know what you know, what Vicky's posted. We don't work at corporate. So with them being in Texas, I mean, it's a personal matter. Obviously, it's going to be that's a family thing. So whatever he's going through, I hope that you'll all, whether you're praying type of people or spiritual people or what have you, just keep him in your good thoughts. Do what you do to keep them in good thoughts because he has, my understanding is surgery, whatever type of surgery it is coming up on Monday, as I understand it from Vicky's post. And of course, we all hope and wish all the absolute best for him and you know good thoughts for, strength for the family, because as you know, most of the people that work at corporate are family members of Amy's, and most of them are children of Amy and Sean's or Amy's, and um, so obviously this is going to be a stressful time for them as well. So we'll just keep them all in our good thoughts and wish them all the best, and hopefully they'll keep us updated as soon as they know more. All right.
I have a
Um,
question, Jill, if that's
yes,
okay.
yes,
Because I have to
absolutely.
drop off. Yeah, hi, how are you?
Good. How are you, Colleen?
Good. I have to drop off early today. I got the grandkids getting dropped off in a few minutes. So,
No problem. No problem.
okay. Two questions. I've been getting certificates going through the trainings, and in Wave Makers, if you've already gotten the certificates, can you skip that class? Or do you still
Yes.
take it in Wave Makers?
Yeah. So if you're participating in Wave Makers and you've already done a supplier training, you don't have to redo the supplier training. Just send corporate a copy of, well, I don't know what somebody's got something trying to view on the screen. That was weird. Never seen that before. Sorry, a squirrel moment. Something popped up on my screen. I don't know if you guys saw it too or not. It was like somebody was sharing their screen. I was like, oh, whoa, what is that? That was new. Um, and so yeah, if you're going through the Wave Makers, let's say Royal Caribbean, you've already done their training. You don't have to redo it for Wave Makers. Just take your Royal Caribbean certification and email it to the training email address, which is training@cornerstone-travel.com. Just let them know you want to apply that towards your quarter, whatever, for Wave Makers 2025. And then the same thing, the Wave Makers is going to start over again in January. They are revamping the program, so it's kind of the same thing. Um, just keep an eye on it, and it'll still be the same if you already completed the appropriate supplier training. Just send them your certificate.
All right, thank you. I got one more quick question.
Sure.
I booked a couple cruises, and for one of the cruises, I don't know how to look in TLN to see if there's a group open I can move this person into.
So you can't look in TLN to see if there's a group. You have to look in the supplier website to see. It's basically you're going to be looking up the sailing, and if there's a TLN group, it'll tell you somewhere on the site that there's a TLN group.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be rude. I know you probably see me looking down a lot. Jeremy has asked for if I have a group's phone number, so I'm trying to look and see if I have one specific to groups. Well, kind of weird. I don't even have phone numbers for Royal. It doesn't even make sense because I know I've called them before. Where would I have put them, I wonder?
Jill, I'm sorry. I meant that was the group's phone number.
Oh, that is the group's phone number.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Jeremy.
Sorry.
Thank
Sorry
you,
about
Jeremy.
that.
That's okay. I misunderstood. Well, hey, I'm going to take a screenshot of that because apparently I have no Royal Caribbean phone numbers in my address book, which is so weird because, like I said, I know I've called them before. I don't book a lot of Royal, but I have booked them. So if anybody needs the group's phone number for Royal Caribbean to ask if there's groups or questions about groups, Jeremy has been kind enough to post that in the chat. It's the 800-327-2055 number. Sorry, like I said, it's early. I still get into my coffee, so bear with me. Sometimes my brain doesn't process right this early. Yes, Gary, thank you. Hopefully Sean does get better soon. All right, let's see. What else do we have? No word on when CLIA registration is going to open yet. Normally they open by mid-November. They've recently been revamping their website, so my gut tells me that maybe they're still making tweaks because they made changes and maybe they're not quite working right is kind of my guess. But just because I know they've made changes before and things didn't always go quite right. So stay tuned. Keep an eye on the Cornerstone Travel Facebook page. If one of us who are already members have our individual CLIA, don't post it first. Amy or somebody from corporate will post it as soon as they're notified that it's open. Normally, if you've already had your CLIA, you'll get an email saying registration is open to renew or reapply. So it should be coming up anytime. I mean, we're already in December. We're good till December 31st, because even if you apply now, the CLIA's will be active for 2026. So hang tight on that. hopefully very, very soon. I'm hoping it doesn't happen when I'm on vacation.
Good morning, Jill. This is Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie.
Speaking of CLIA, so if we upgraded to the Pro, which comes with a CLIA card,
Yes.
will I have to apply for that, or is
Yes.
Cornerstone going to do it?
No.
So,
and the reason that they're not going to do it for you is because you have to upload a photo.
okay.
And there are things that you have to do. You have to provide your individual, if your personal information, your upload a photo. I'm trying to think if I have my card nearby that I could show you, but let's see.
So will then I pay for it and then
Yes.
Cornerstone reimburses? Is that
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's exactly what's going to happen is when you register, you'll get a receipt in your email. You're going to take that email, you're going to forward it to either Vicky or Amy. At this point, please send it to Vicky, considering Amy's by Sean's side. I know that this is a stressful time for Vicky as well because they are very tight. But just take that receipt once you do register. If you completed Wavemakers in 2025, or if you have upgraded to Pro, you're entitled to that reimbursement. You only get one, of course, if you've done both. Which in my case, I've done both, but they're not going to pay me twice for one registration. So just know that somebody did actually ask that question on the Facebook page, and Amy went, no, just once. So yeah, just take your receipt that shows that you've paid it, send it to them, and then it will kick out through Tess.
Okay, so then I am just waiting until January when the new Wavemakers starts. I know they were updating it from what I've heard people say.
Yeah.
So I haven't started it. So
That's okay.
when I begin Wavemakers in January, whenever they put out the new one, do I have to pay for the CLIA card again?
No. So if you complete the entire Wavemakers certification program, which is a year-long program, starts in January, you have to complete all of the quarterly challenge, the quarterly trainings and challenges, and you have to attend convention. And if you complete all of that and you get your little award, which is somewhere here on my desk, I haven't unpacked it yet because it's been crazy since I got back. I got back and got laryngitis, which is why I still have a bit of a cough. It's because it's stupid cough is kind of lingering, but yeah, laryngitis was fun. I had to cancel all my trainings the week after convention. So.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I got the Monday after I was a little bit froggy, so I did 2 1-on-1s, and then the next morning I woke up and it was all I could do to get even a tiny little squeak out, and so I'm like, SOS! I SOS all the mentors, and I said, help! I have no voice. I can't. I said, I'm done. I said, I'm done. I said, can't do anything this week. So that was the end of that. But I do have a bit of a frog, which is why I'm still coughing a little bit. But yeah, that was fun. But no, so you need to complete the entire Wavemakers training. And if you do that and you get your certificate, then the credit will be for the 2027 at this. So if you do 2026 Wavemakers, the reimbursement for CLIA will be for 2027.
Okay.
Does
Perfect.
that make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Any other questions, Stephanie, since you're on the screen?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Unless you know
see.
some stuff about MSC.
We can talk about MSC if we get a break in the thing, or if people want me to show MSC, I can certainly do that. Let's see. Lisa's asking, is the background one I made or imported into Zoom? So my background is actually one of my own photos that I this is actually from Athens, from one of my trips. That is an actual photo that I took, my own stuff. Zoom does have photos that you can upload. If you go to the video down on the bottom of the Zoom, click the up arrow for video. You can blur your background. If you look at Lisa's background, she's blurred. Cheryl is blurred. So you can blur your background if you don't want to put up a background photo. You don't want to deal with that. You can blur your background so that people can see that you're in a room, but they can't see what's in your room. And then if you want a photo, you do adjust background and effects. And I know that this is not travel related, you guys, so bear with me. But when you bring that up, you'll see, I can share my screen if it helps. Share screen. I have to watch really carefully though, because I just added a second monitor, so I have to make sure I'm sharing the right one. So once you click on, like I said, on video, you're going to go to, oops, I just lost it. Where did my toolbar go? So video, adjust background and effects is going to bring you to this screen. And you can choose from the photos that are here, or you should have the option, this little plus. You can see there's video filters here. These are, a couple of these are, actually, those are all mine. There are some that are default usually. They may
All
have
we can
changed
see
it.
is your desktop. Like, I don't think we're seeing what you're choosing.
Oh, you know why? I think it's because I did it after. Maybe because I did it after. Maybe because can you, all right, can you see
Zoom
that now?
actually doesn't, Zoom doesn't let you share.
It doesn't
the
let you
Zoom
share it.
screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, then I will stop sharing my screen. So when you go into that virtual, the background and effects, there's an option. You'll see kind of yourself in the top of it, and then down below it'll say camera, virtual backgrounds, avatars, video filters, studio effects. Virtual backgrounds, there's a little plus sign, and at that point you can upload the photo that you want. So there's that little trick for adding one of your photos if you want to. And let me go. All right, let me go back through here and see what else we've got. Did I see something about Cornerstone paying for a CLIA membership? So Cheryl, Cornerstone will reimburse for an individual CLIA membership if you have upgraded to the Pro version that entitles you to the CLIA membership, or if you complete Wave Makers. So if you've upgraded to the $40 a month plan, that will entitle you to your individual CLIA being reimbursed. So when 2026 opens, just go ahead and register as normal. And then send a copy of your receipt that shows that you've paid for it to either Vicky or Amy, and then they'll process to reimburse you through tests. All right, let's see. The benefits of, and Rochelle is asking the benefits for an individual CLIA. So the individual CLIA is primarily used for identification purposes, to show that you're an agent in good standing in the industry. And then a lot of suppliers, if they offer TA rates like Hilton, Marriott, Carnival, if there are TA rates available, I know Marriott offers the fantastic rates on their hotels. But in order to take advantage of those, you have to have an individual CLIA card or an IATAN card. The IATAN card, we don't usually talk about that very much, especially for brand new agents, just because that is earned based on paid commissions. And for most new agents, it's going to take a little while to meet the criteria. To meet the criteria to earn the individual, to be able to apply for an individual IATAN card, you have to receive a minimum $5,000 in paid commissions in a 12-month period of time. And so the CLIA, on the other hand, you just go apply and get your card. But so that's kind of what it is the TA rates. Just know also that TA rates are not always the best going rate. So you'll hear me say a lot, compare prices. I don't care what you're shopping for, whether it's a TA rate or you're shopping for rates for clients. Always price check, because the TA rates just aren't always the best. I've price checked cruises before, and the TA rate will sit here, and although the retail rate may be up, just slightly higher, by the time you get the commission back, it's slightly lower. So you kind of have to weigh that out. Do I want to take that lower rate now and just be happy with it? Or do I want to pay a little bit more now and know that I'm going to get money back in the after the fact that's going to make that price less in the long run? And for me, I've had my individual CLIA card and my IATAN card for a long time now, and I rarely. I'm 8.5 years into my business, and I've used TA rates. I guess technically I booked 3. I did a back-to-back on Princess post-COVID when they were trying to fill the ships, and they offered some pretty stinking, almost sickeningly low prices. Sickening low prices. I told you how much I paid for 3 weeks on a princess cruise in the Mediterranean. It was pretty wild. That's the only time. So and it was cheaper for me to do the back to back to back as 3 7-day cruises rather than do a 14 and 7 or the full 21 as one booking. And it was just, yeah, to fill the ships post COVID, it was pretty wild. I'm like, okay, for that I'll book the TA rate. But other than that, I always just do the commission back. It's just no fuss, no muss kind of thing for me. Let's see, what else do we have? Cheryl's asking, Canva credit card authorization, is there a training video on how to customize the agency name? So there's not a training video on customizing, but Canva is it's not too bad to use. Let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. Let's see. Share screen. Oops, no, I want screen 2. Okay, can you guys see my screen with Facebook on it? Okay, I see Lisa shaking her head. Thank you.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, I just added the second screen. Just wanted to make sure I was sharing the right one. Let's see if I have them. I may have deleted them. Oh, here they are. Credit card authorization form. I think it's in this one. Oh, sorry. So when you come in here to customize it, is the credit card authorization I think it's template pack 2, huh? I did the wrong one. There we go. I think it's in this one. Okay, let's see. So, well, actually, the credit card authorization doesn't have a place for you to customize it with your, well, let's see. That's for the user, the traveler. Yeah, so for this credit card authorization actually doesn't have a spot, Cheryl, for putting your information in there.
Because I was told that there was a way you could go in and customize it. And then my biggest, I guess, concern is, can that be sent electronically to the client and have them sign it electronically and send it back or not?
No, you would need to use either another CRM or DocuSign or something like that that's compliant.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could, if you want to add your information, you could always come over here and add a text box, and it's going to throw it down here, and it always throws it into a tiny little spot. So
yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
yeah, so you could just do a text box, add it, and then you come down and you drag it and put it wherever you want to. You can increase the fonts.
How do you save it? That's what I was spent hours yesterday, and I was getting so
it auto
frustrated.
saves.
It
Yeah,
auto saves. Okay.
it auto saves. It's like if I go out of this right now and then I go back into it, it should still have my Portside Travel by Jill at the top. This one takes a little bit longer to load. Come on. There it is. Yeah, so you can see it's still there.
Okay.
So basically anything you do, it auto saves. And at that point you would just download this. I mean, you could put this into a PDF format and enter fields so that they can click and type and then just email it to them. They'd still have to save it and send it back.
Okay.
So that would be one way. I know doing signatures that way probably I highly doubt is compliant, but for me, I've been in business long enough. I use DocuSign because I don't want to use another CRM just because my processes are already pretty set in stone because I've been doing it a while and never had a CRM until I came to Cornerstone. This is my third host agency, and it's taken until now to have a CRM. And so to have to pay for an extra CRM, to me, it's like, I don't want to reinvent the wheel and have to pay money to do it. So that my personal choice is to just keep doing things the way I do it. But I did take my credit card authorization form. I use a different one, and I put it up into DocuSign, added all the little form fields, and because DocuSign is very reputable.
Okay.
Of course, it does still cost money. And that's something to look at. And you are limited to how many you can do. So that's something to take into consideration as well. It's like the basic, their one plan lets you do like 5 a month, which is not
Okay.
very much. It's not very many if you're doing a lot. But so it's as simple as that to change it. If you want to add your logo, you can upload it into, there's an upload button and you can upload your logo. And you can upload, where's my logo? I know it's in here somewhere. I've been a little busy in Canva lately. So then you can just drag it over. It's floating right now. I just wanted to keep floating. It was going on a trip of its own. And so then you can just kind of place it where you want, resize it so it fits, which that's not quite a fit. Let's shrink that down a little bit more.
Okay.
And then there's my logo.
Okay.
So you've got a couple of options. And then the other forms, though, now this one, the booking information, it doesn't have the information just because that's more something you can use yourself to collect the information. But ones that some of these that you're going to send to clients, like travel proposals, you've got a spot down here where you can just click in here and you can just double click and change that to
Okay.
yours, and then your email address, just click in there and then highlight it, and then like I said, as soon as you leave that box, it's saved.
Okay. Perfect.
And so modifying it's not too bad. And like I said, you can always add other details if there's room. If there's something on here that you don't want, this is your own copy once it's in your Canva account, so you can tweak it how you want to.
Okay.
Does that help, Cheryl?
It did. Absolutely. Thank you.
Perfect. My pleasure. All
Can
right.
I
let's do
also interject on that, Jill?
No, Stephanie. Of course you
Cheryl,
can.
you might want to try JotForm for your credit card authorization. It's like I tried to do Google Forms, but Google Forms wouldn't do the thing. So I went to JotForm because I think Cornerstone uses it some and some other people do. And you get like 5 free forms you can do. So I did my credit card authorization and also my form to send to clients for them to fill out. So I have their information and they can electronically sign that, and it's free. So that, and I did that because I'm so new and I've already spent a ton of money. So and I just copied and pasted like out of some of Cornerstone's documents there. I also used Google's Gemini and did some things. I even wrote, I pieced together terms and conditions from some on Cornerstones, some out of Google Gemini, and then just made some things that I could use free because I've spent a lot of money because I keep booking all the great cruises instead of selling them.
Double check JotForm though, because I tried to use JotForm early on when Cornerstone first opened, and I learned about JotForm. And every time I tried to do a credit card authorization form to create one in JotForm, they locked me out of my account and said, you are violating our rules because you are not paying for an account. And so I don't know if they've changed their policy on that, but they would lock me out of my account, and I had to call them, and they said, well, this is why your form is a credit card authorization, and that's a no-no. They said, unless you're using, they had very specific rules on using a credit card authorization. And they're like, you're not compliant if you're not doing X, Y, or Z. And I was like, oh, okay, well, never mind then. Thank you very much.
I've done it once.
I said, let me in and I'll delete it.
Yeah, I did it once and they didn't lock me out. So I don't know if it's changed or I just did something. It doesn't look like what. Maybe I better go back and check that.
Well, you would know because they wouldn't let you back in to get to your forms. Because, like I said, they locked me out almost immediately. And so it's like, wow, okay. But they may have changed because that was 2 years ago. So it was it's possible that they've changed things, but that's one of the reasons I ended up going to DocuSign was like, I'm like, well, I want a way because I personally have a lot of older clients and not everybody has technology and are not up to date technology or printers. And so to ask them to print something, fill it out, sign it, take a picture of it and send it back was asking a lot for my, bless their heart, almost 80-year-old clients. And I was like, I got to make this better. And so that's when I turned to DocuSign. I'm like, okay, yes, I'm going to have to pay for it, but it's, it's going to be easier for them. It's going to be easier for me. And it's, the template's done. I just go in each time, change it and do away with it. And it is send it on its way. So, but check that out though, just in case, just to make sure that it's compliant and everything as far as Jotform goes. I don't want anyone doing something and finding out it's not compliant. Let me see, Carla, a TLN question. I see a group on TLN under CruiseSpace offers, but don't see any available in Espresso. So CruiseSpace offers, Carla, are you looking at Cruise Complete, or is that something under Royal?
It's both in TLM. I looked under the CruiseSpace offers, and then also when I go into Cruise Complete, it says I can book. It shows that as an amenity departure, and it says I can book now, but I don't see it in Espresso. And the reason I asked the question is because this particular sailing, some friends have booked into it on their own before they knew I was an agent, and now they're offering to transfer it to me. And I told them I could give them the $50. And so it hasn't been transferred yet, but just if I go into Espresso and look at that sailing, there's nothing in that middle group column. But it looks like on Cruise Complete, I could book into it with that offer. So I'm just confused.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. Well, first question I'm going to ask you is how long ago did they book the cruise?
Just maybe a week ago.
Okay, perfect.
And they didn't pay in full, so.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's what I was going to say is again, for those who may be newer and may not be aware, each cruise line has their own policy on cruise transfers. There's different timelines. They're not consistent across the board. The biggest thing to keep in mind is if a cruise is paid in full, they're not going to allow the transfer just because the work, they look at it as the work's already been done. Why should we give you the commission for it? So go figure. Norwegian is the stingiest, and I hate to use that term, but they are the stingiest with allowing transfers. They only allow you 14 days from the date of booking to transfer a cruise. 14 days. They are the shortest. The longest is Carnival at 90 days. Princess and I believe Holland America also are 60 days. And then some of the others are right around 30 days. So it's important that of course, I don't know all the cruise lines policies. So if you're not sure, if you've got a cruise line you haven't worked with before and somebody wants to transfer it to you, you're not sure, just give the cruise line a call. Ask them what are the rules and what do they need from you to be able to transfer. That's always going to be the easiest solution. But just keep in mind that there are those rules and regulations. But Carla, my suggestion to you is going to be to go ahead and call Royal and let them know that you see on another site that there's TLN group space. And that you have a booking that they'd like to transfer. And once it's transferred, you'd like to get it into that TLN group. And can they explain why you're not seeing it in Espresso?
Okay.
Because if it's not showing and there is space, it's odd that it's not showing. So I know that's the way I would handle it. I would call Royal and just say, I'm confused.
Yeah, I mean, it is very confusing because it's in that middle column. Like I see the TLN group number on that middle column, but there's nothing in there. And that it would be there if you could. I mean, right?
So, yeah, but if it says TLN at the top, then you should still be able to transfer in it because TLN groups, I don't know. I've seen it look like them.
I mean, does TLM run out of space? I mean, does that happen or?
I mean, I imagine it could, but I've not experienced that. So
yeah.
But if
Yeah.
it's there, if it's listed there under the column, just uh nothing in the column itself, I think you should be able to go ahead and transfer it. But give Braille a call just to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I mean, since I told them I could give them the $50, they're friends, and I'll just chalk it up to experience if I can't, but I hope I can. So,
Yeah, give them a call. They'll let you know for sure.
okay,
But
thank you.
if it's showing it as a header on that column, it seems like you should be able to transfer it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. How soon after you complete a cruise should you receive commission? So commission varies. Typically, it's around 30 days after a cruise is complete that you should see the commission. Sometimes cruise lines take a little longer, sometimes not. But typically, it's around 30 days after. And Cheryl, I don't know if you've looked at, if you've looked at if I could say the word I'm looking for, in the test. Over here on the left, there's the word commission. If you expand that out, you'll see the received in My Next Check. Keep an eye on the My Next Check because when it's getting ready to be processed, it will show there. Oh, look, I have money coming. Yay.
Because
Um,
we also booked some stuff through Viator, and some of those have come through. So it's weird. It's like, I don't know. I think it depends when we did those Viator, which some of them were at the beginning, some were at the end. So yeah, I just wasn't sure on the cruise.
well, and you're lucky you've gotten Viator already. I've had a couple of Viator payouts that were super slow.
Really?
So yeah, so it really just kind of depends. But yeah, typically the payout that I would expect on cruises at around 30 days.
Okay. That's what
Yeah,
I figured. It's probably a
yeah,
certain point after the end of the cruise.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Gary, I don't understand your question.
What was that?
There's a question in the chat from Gary, and I'm not sure what
Oh,
he's
okay.
referring to. Okay, let's see. Suzette, in jot form, if you were just collecting the last part of the credit card number and signature and not all the credit card information. Well, the 2 years ago they did, because that's all I was collecting was the last four and the signature, and they absolutely locked me out. So, like I said, they may have changed their policy and their procedures on credit card authorizations, but that was absolutely all I was collecting. I was absolutely sticking to the rules. I was using the format from my last host agency, and I modified it a little bit to include some information that I wanted, and verbiage that I wanted just on the client information side of it, not the credit card information itself. But yeah, last four of the expiration date, and didn't even ask for the security code, and they absolutely locked me out repeatedly. Repeatedly. And I wasn't even using it, I was just testing it. That was the bad thing. Like, well, okay, not going to use this. But like I said, they may very well have changed their policy. I'm glad to hear it's working for you guys. Question on the Canvas CC auth and sending it to clients in PDF form to sign and send back. No, I wasn't sure if jot form was compliant, as far as the being PCI compliant, or that. But no, through Canva, you can absolutely save that, send it to them, have them fill it out, because that form comes from Cornerstone. Amy created that form. She wouldn't create a form that is not okay to use. So that form is A-okay. Save it out of my email if it's book status. Oh, Carla, Tanya put a note in the chat for you. She said she saved the form from Facebook and had to dig it out of her email. If it's in book status and the deposit has been paid, you simply click transfer to group on the left-hand side of your screen while looking at the booking details. And then you should see the TLN group as an option, and you'll click OK or transfer, and that should be done. So just go ahead and get them to do get that booking transferred to you, and then follow those instructions. Looks like you already saw that. Oh, did I rob them on the 3-week cruise? Okay, I got it. Thank you, Lisa, for explaining that. I was like, did I rob? Gary's comment in the chat was, did I rob them? and Lisa's explaining that that was in reference to the 3-week cruise that I did. You know, it kind of felt like I did because they were basically offering 7-day cruises in the Mediterranean and other places for interior cabins were starting at like $250 or something. And it was, I mean, it was insane. I basically did, I'll go ahead and tell you, I basically did 3 weeks in the Mediterranean in a balcony solo for about $2,000. So,
Teach me your ways.
Mine was more.
Oh my
like I
gosh.
like I said, I know it was insane. The prices were insane. It was post-COVID when cruising was just opening back
Oh.
up. And so they were trying to get the ships filled. And so they started saying they had it was on Princess and they had it on their website. You can, for limited time, you can get these cruises for, I mean, just dirt cheap. And so I'm like, oh, yes, please. I will go Barcelona to Rome, and I will go Rome to Athens, and I will go Athens and get Turkey in the mix. And I was like, what? And had a blast. I had an absolute blast. My husband didn't want to go for that long, and I'm like, I can't pass up those kind of prices. I don't normally do TA rates, but I can't pass that up. So fall of
Good
20,
for you.
so it was fall of 21. I think it was fall of 21. Off I went, and it was great. We had to wear masks. We absolutely had to wear masks and abide by, the COVID testing for in certain areas. And I didn't care because it got me back on a ship and out of the country and woo. So yeah, prices like that don't happen often. Trust me, they don't happen they're not that low on a normal basis. But because it was just after COVID and they wanted people to get back on the ships and for people to be able to talk about, being on the ships and it's okay to be traveling again. And so they offered really, really low pricing and it was insanely low. And it did feel a little bit like I was robbing him, Gary. It really did. But that was the one time I've taken advantage of TA rates rather than booking and getting commission back because it was insane. It just couldn't be beat. Could not be beat. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Okay. Crystal, hi, new agent. Welcome. She's a new agent, wondering since she lives near a major theme park in Florida, if you can tour resorts. So if you're talking theme parks and stuff, I don't know that they do those for travel agents. But resorts, as far as if you're talking like hotel resorts type places, you can absolutely contact a hotel resort and ask to speak to their management team and see if you can set up a property tour. So those types of tours you can schedule on your own. But if you're talking theme park tours, those I don't think that they would do those. But hotels and stuff, absolutely. You just give them a call, send them an email. I've got an email out to my upcoming hotel trying to schedule a property tour. I'm crossing my fingers. They'll give me one. But just waiting on that. Let's see. Lisa, very hesitant to cruise after COVID. My friend and I had a cruise planned for May of 2020 that was canceled. So we were very nervous when it reopened after that. That was my first cruise that was canceled, was for May of 2020. So I'm familiar with that feeling. I was a little bit nervous about going, but honestly, I looked at it as if I'm going to get sick, I'm going to get sick. I could get sick at home. It doesn't. I kind of look at it as it doesn't matter where you are, you can catch it. You can catch it one way or another. I just made sure that and they were constantly cleaning the ships. I mean, and boy, you could tell when they stopped the COVID requirements for cleaning the ships because norovirus came back. That was the exciting thing for me. But and I tell you, I'd rather get COVID than norovirus because I've had norovirus now, and I'll take COVID any day of the week. I don't wish norovirus on anybody. But yeah, they were very diligent. It's like you always saw crew members after COVID. They were constantly wiping down handrails. Anything that was a touched surface was constantly being wiped down. They had special sanitizers. So they were very, very thorough post COVID, trying to keep everybody safe and healthy. And you could tell if someone caught it, you knew who had it because there was a little table outside of the door. Those were the quarantine
Actually,
rooms.
I was on
That,
Princess Cruise at the very beginning, the Grand Princess cruise ship that was coming back from Hawaii in 2020
oh
when
gosh.
COVID first hit,
Uh,
and they wouldn't let us come back into port. So we were circling outside. We were supposed to come back into San Francisco. We circled 4 days, I think it was, before they got us into oh God, Long Beach. No, it wasn't Long Beach.
it was a weird
The
port, and then
Bay.
you guys had to go to that quarantine hotel, huh?
Yep, and they
Yep.
got us off the ship. You put you on a bus. The bus took you to a private airstrip because I live
Hmm.
in Iowa, so we went to Lackland Air Force in San Antonio.
Oh gosh.
And they treated us, we never got it. I cannot complain because Princess did everything they could to keep us safe. It was new to them. They treated us well. We got reimbursed for that. That was my graduation cruise.
Oh gosh.
So, but they really did. I mean, it was new to them. They did everything they could. I mean, it was new to the government, and I mean, they flew us down there. We got treated like royalty from what we heard of from the other two or three places, depending where you were from, the other all over the country that where they sent those people. And our governor in Iowa, anybody that was there, they got them flown back the last week of our 2-week court-mandated quarantine.
Oh
So we
gosh.
spent our last week at home to finish it, and then I went right back to work because I was an essential worker. But yeah, so and
It
they
was an
still want people
adventure.
to ship, huh?
It was an adventure in travel is for sure what we all
Oh,
experienced. It was a learning experience for all of us. That's
it
for darn
was.
sure. And oh my gosh.
It's a
But
learning experience. So
yes, but here we are today, and the travel industry, especially cruising, is just booming right now. It's like I'm in a Facebook group that people will post what the numbers are. They'll listen for the captain announcements, or they'll go to the captain party where they'll announce the numbers of loyalty levels.
mhm.
And I was on an Alaska cruise in August with my husband, and I actually got invited to the most traveled past guest luncheon, which blew me away because I mean, although I cruised Princess a lot, I still hadn't hit 200 days until after that cruise, and I was invited to the most traveled guest luncheon.
Oh,
They invite
cool.
the top 20 most traveled guests, and I didn't even have 200 days and got invited. I'm like, okay, there's something wrong with this picture here. Come to find out at the luncheon we shared, they always have a senior officer, and we ended up with the future cruise desk gal. And she told us that on that particular cruise, 82% of travelers on board that ship, which was the Royal Princess, which is the Royal class ship, it's their bigger ship, 82% were first time travelers with Princess.
Wow.
82%. And
Yeah.
those staggering numbers are commonplace. Somebody just posted, I don't know if I can find it real quick. They're on a cruise now, and first time travelers, same thing. It's over 1,100 people on board are first time travelers with Princess. And it's kind of a consistent theme that we're starting to see. And I know Princess isn't the only cruise line that's seeing that kind of thing. So cruising right now, the way that they're advertising and their current partnerships that the cruise lines are doing, a lot of the cruise lines are partnering more and more with Hollywood, and the music industry. They're bringing on famous people owned alcohols, and because we
Mhm.
live in a society where everybody's following. Everybody wants to be these other people, so they'll drink their alcohol and they'll buy their clothes just because it's got their name on it. I'm not one of them, but I'm not one of them, and I don't understand that mentality. But it's working for the cruise industry because
Oh, yeah.
brand new cruisers are skyrocketing right now, and it's just kind of crazy. crazy, crazy, crazy. So let me see
Yeah.
what else we've got here in the chat. Let's see. Carla, I answered your question. She asked if I knew how often Princess updates the graduation cruise list. There's not really a set schedule. Just check it every couple of weeks. And remember too that right now the graduation cruise for Princess does not expire. The thing you have to remember that is you have to maintain your Commodore status to be able to continue to push out when you take that cruise. So don't let your Commodore status lapse. You always want to make sure that you stay on top of those annual refresher courses. If you're already at Commodore status and a year lapses, they will send you the email when the refresher courses are available, usually at sometime in July. Make sure you pop in there right away, take those refresher courses, and your Commodore status is locked up for the next year. And so that kind of pushes out the opportunity for you to delay taking your graduation cruise. I waited about 4 years. It sounds like Cheryl waited a while because I think she mentioned she's had her individual CLIA for 8 years. So it sounds like, and she just, before COVID took her. So it sounds like you waited about 3 or so years. So you can kind of push it out. I know that Neil and Monica have been in the industry almost as long as I have, and they still haven't taken their graduation cruise to my knowledge. So you can extend it as long as you maintain your Commodore status. So there are people that wait. I've got former coworkers. She and her husband both signed up as travel agents about the same time I did. They haven't taken theirs yet. So they've been in about 8 years and haven't taken theirs. So just don't let your Commodore status lapse and you're good.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because some of them say sold out, but then others say price not available. So I was just wondering if the ones that say price not available, they plan on putting on there in the future. Just didn't know if you had any insight on that.
Sometimes price of unavailable is a glitch in the system.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's a glitch in Princess's system. Yeah, it's just keep checking back though. And you are looking specifically under graduation cruises, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And if it's because they are limited availability, it's like usually they'll take an allotment, kind of a percentage of what's left of the cabins on a cruise, and but it's usually kind of small allotments, and so they can go fast, especially if it's a good itinerary. I ended up doing, for mine, I did a Japan crossing from Tokyo. It came over to Whittier, so it was a repositioning cruise. So that was fun. 16 days. The Pacific wasn't fun. We had a rocky ride. It was April, so it was still stormy season heading to Alaska. But Japan is awesome. If you get an opportunity to do a fantastic cruise like Japan, jump on it because those are very cool.
Japan is one of the ones I see on there, but it just says price not available. So it doesn't say sold out, but
see if there's a phone number for the graduation cruises and you give them a call and ask them about it, because it might just be a glitch in the system. It's worth calling to check just in case.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let me see what else is in the chat here. Oh, Lisa's looking at a 28-day Canada Greenland cruise solo. Yeah, wouldn't those prices would be great for something like that. But that sounds like an amazing cruise. I still need to get to Greenland. Is still on my list. What's a good supplier to book a flight and hotel for an add-on to a cruise? The flights on the cruise site have too short of a connection. Yeah, sometimes the best flights, if you're going through the cruise line, especially if it's through Princess, the best flights available will be when they first come out at 330 days prior to the return date. Other than that, then you start getting that limited selection. So as far as flights and hotels, any of our consolidators, like I said, I always recommend price checking at least two or three of them just to see who has the current best price. Because I look at it as those consolidators are most likely getting block pricing, and those blocks can fill up, and then they have to get a new block, and the price may change. So one day, price agencies might have the best price, and the next day, TAP might have the best price, or VAX or SNAP, and so always price check just to see who's got the best ones. But any of our consolidators are great. SNAP, TAP, VAX. Price agencies. For hotels, you can even check Beds Online, RoomRes. Sometimes those have good rates. The other thing to check too for hotels in particular, is not, don't just check the room rate price. Look at the commission too, because I've looked for my own hotel for an upcoming trip. Found two suppliers, Expedia, Tap, and Beds Online, that the price was within pennies of each other. And so I thought, okay. So I kind of looked at all the details. I was comparing apples to apples. They both had breakfast included, blah, blah, blah. And then I hit the commission line and I went, oh, we'll go with Beds Online because Beds Online was offering 2% higher commission. So that was a no-brainer. I was booking retail rate, almost identical, but I'm just giving myself 2% extra back commission when I get paid the commission. So always price check and just see who's got the best deal, not only for your client, but if the prices are almost same for your client, check and make sure that you're getting the best deal for yourself out of it also.
Okay.
Little tip there.
Hey, Jill, on that one.
Yes. Yeah.
Cheryl, going to Alaska in June, depending on where they're going from. Next year, the World Cup is here.
Oh yeah.
And my father-in-law, we paid a cancellation because hotels in Vancouver were like $1,200 a night.
Oh, geez.
And so it was cheaper to do a cancellation and change his cruise to a couple weeks later. So keep that in mind. The World Cup is next summer in a lot of places. I think Seattle too has some games.
Yes, I believe I read that Seattle also has some.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we did our Alaska, we did Seattle, but the client actually specified June of this year because they're celebrating their anniversary. So yeah, otherwise I'd be like, book it at least a year out. That's what I did with my European one we just got back on. I booked it in August of 24.
Yeah, I got the cruise rate wasn't bad. I mean, we did celebrity and he did a suite, but it was the cost of the hotel and flights were, a quarter of the cost of the entire cruise. So
yeah.
And they're going to keep going up too, unfortunately. It's going to be one of those things. And one other option too is if they're going out of Seattle, something to think about is I've not actually stayed overnight or anything in Vancouver, but I've heard that there's a transfer system, whether I can't remember if it's a bus or a train from Vancouver that can take you into Seattle. So that I wonder if that might be something to look at too, if it would be cheaper to do a hotel in Vancouver and then come down into Seattle for the cruise.
They're actually cruising out of Vancouver.
Oh, well, then never mind.
Yeah. When we did ours, we cruised out in 23. We cruised out of Seattle, but they want to cruise out of Vancouver. So they're going to spend 2 days before they get on the cruise just to kind of tour around Vancouver. So
yeah, so it sounds like it could be kind of crazy with the World Cup and that might be when it's a good time to take a cruise out of go to Alaska out of San Francisco and take the couple of extra sea days.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Jeremy, I think I remember when you posted that on the Cornerstone page about that. And it's like, oh yeah, that's right. That is coming, isn't it?
Yeah, that was my first Alaska cruise too that I booked. And then when it came time for a hotel, I was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a bit, it's supply and demand though, and they'll get those prices. They will get those prices. That's the scary thing. So, all right, we're almost out of time. So let me get through the rest of the chat questions real quick. Okay, I answered. Oh, Evermore Resort. So Crystal, if Evermore Resort is like a hotel type of situation, just give them a call. Give them a call, send them an email, talk to their management and see if they will. What's the maximum number of days for a Graduation Princess cruise? Whatever they're offering. The one I took was 16 days. I've also seen World Cruise segments pop up that somebody told me about that was, I think there was one that was like 28 days. I don't think those come up very often. The most common you're going to see are probably going to be 7 days or, possibly 14 days. I think it's 7 days are probably the most common. But if you just kind of keep an eye on it, but you better be, if you want one of those longer ones that pop up, you better be prepared to pull the trigger and pay in full, because payment in full plus the gratuities will be required at the time of booking. So just as you're keeping an eye on it, just be prepared to pull a quick trigger if there's something longer, because the longer ones are going to definitely be prime and snatched up fast. Let's see. Bob just signed up for MSC as a supplier, but their training is just a PDF. MSC has training, don't they? Let me look. I thought they had training
No,
on the
not
website.
yet.
Oh, thank you. Not yet. Okay, so Bob,
It's like they're
hang tight for the
revamping
training.
it. Yeah, they're
Oh, that's
revamping
right.
it or something.
That's right. I remember that. Jordan has mentioned that. So the training is being updated. Thank you for refreshing my memory. MSC's training system is being updated by a third party, and apparently they're at the mercy of this third party company, and they're apparently not being very timely. So that training is still kind of out there lingering. Let's see. All right. Gunter, have fun, had to go. Thanks, you've already left. Thanks for coming. Princess offers motor coach transfers between Seattle and Vancouver. Yes, they do. Carla, my pleasure. We are at the hour, but Stephanie, did you want me to pop into MSC real quick?
Oh no, I've been playing around in it,
Okay.
and I'm going on their the thing in May, Seminar at Sea. It's my first one, so
nice.
But and then I had a friend that wants to go on the cruise as well, so I've been trying to price her out, and of course she's pricing it herself, which is cheaper, and I'm like, this is why you need to sign up to be a travel agent, and then you can do all these things for yourself.
And it depends on where she's looking too, though, because there are some companies that offer a lot of the commission back, and it's like they kind of keep minuscule amounts for themselves so that they can suck in people by giving a lot of the commission back as a discount on the price.
Yeah, and I mean we're only off $100 on what I'm pricing her versus what she's finding. So
that's not too bad.
We're gonna talk about it again after this call. So yeah, I've just been playing around in it. There's not a lot I know, and I'm just gonna call them if I get some questions.
Has she one other thing I'll mention on the MSC is, has she cruised on other cruise lines? Does she have a high loyalty level on another cruise line? Because if so, make sure you do a status match, because she'll get a discount for her status.
Oh, I didn't know they status matched. Yes, she's actually the one that got me into cruising 20 years ago. And that's where we became Princess Girls. And now she sells on Carnival now on a lot of them. So yes, she should be at whatever the Diamond on Carnival and probably Elite on Princess.
So then you want to do the status match. They have a form, an online form to fill out. I'm looking for it right now while we're talking. You always want to have, if somebody's going to status match with MSC, here it is. Here's the site. I'm going to post this right here. Always have them status match with whatever cruise line they have the highest status in. So there's a link in the chat. That's to the online webpage. You're just going to fill out. It's asked for gender, name, date of birth, email, phone number, address, current loyalty card information, and then they'll upload a photo of their status with whichever cruise line they want to be matched with. So some of them you don't actually have like a status card, and I know we've gone over time, so if anybody has to pop off, I certainly understand, and I thank you so much for coming. There will be more Q&As next week. Stephanie, give me just a second to throw this out there in case anybody has to jump off, because I know we're over time. 2 Q&As on Tuesday. There is another Saturday Q&A next Saturday, and I believe that's the last Saturday Q&A for the month because of the holidays. I'll be hosting next Saturday as well, and then I'm going to be scrambling to pack. I signed up to host that one, and then I went, oh, that's last scramble packing day. What was I thinking? But anyway, I'll be there for Q&A, and then I'll scramble and pack. But so Q&As Tuesdays, Saturdays, and then we'll kind of, it may be a little bit more of a lull until the beginning of the year, but lots more ways to ask questions. And there's always, of course, the Facebook page. So if you have to jump off, thank you so much for taking time out of your Saturday to join me, and I hope to see you next time. And then Stephanie, so on the status match, like I said, some of them don't have, thank you, Rochelle, you're so kind. Have a great rest of your weekend. Princess, for example, you don't get the card. All they have to do for websites, if you don't have a card or something that shows it, log into their account. Usually there's somewhere on the screen where it will show their loyalty level. They can take a screenshot of that shows their name and it would need to show like Carnival, their name and their loyalty level. Get a screenshot of that, save that as an image, and they can upload that. Because I know for Princess, that's what we have to do. We just go into our cruise personalizers, take a snap of what shows, the who and the loyalty level, and then upload that, send it off, and then
So do we need to, do we have to do that before booking the cruise? And
they recommend that you do it before booking the cruise, but you can do it after. If you do it after, once they've committed that loyalty level match, call them, give them the booking number and their new MSC loyalty number, and ask them to please apply that loyalty discount to their booking. And I did that with one client, and they applied it, and they got a nice little discount. So,
do you know what kind of discount? Is it like a 5 or 10% discount? Do you know?
I think it varies by level.
Okay. All right.
I think it varies by level.
I didn't realize that was so what cruise lines do status match besides MSC?
I believe that I've heard Virgin does as well.
Okay.
And to my knowledge, I think those are the only two.
Okay. Thanks. That was great info. So I'll get her on that.
Let me look at Virgin has it. Yeah, it looks like Virgin has one. Here's the site. Here's the site for Virgin, if anybody's looking for it. So what I would do with those two pages, folks, is just bookmark them for future reference in case you have clients who need them. Always bookmark those pages that have that you may need reference. Transfer forms, booking transfer forms. I always bookmark those. I put them into folders so that my bookmarks aren't I'm not looking through, 500 bookmarks. So I've got everything Princess that I may need to refer back to is under a Princess folder. Royal and whatever, just create those folders, and that way just go straight to that supplier folder, and you can see what you look for at a quick glance. But all right,
okay, well, thank you so much, and have a great weekend.
My pleasure.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. It was a great turnout. You guys kept me hopping today. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Deb.
Bye.